Morning, guys. How you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I'm Sean Butler. That's Bugsy Malone. And this is episode 107 of Tottenham Walks. And I've got a stone in my shoe. There we go. Hope you're all happy, healthy, doing the things that you love with the people that you love doing them with. Guys, please do me a favour before we get going on this super quick one today. And that is smash me a like, smash me a subscribe, smash a notification bell, button push, and smash a comment. Really do appreciate all the comments that are coming in thick and fast on the channel recently. All the new names of the new subscribers. It means the world to me, guys. Please do hang around the channel, keep the conversation growing, and keep our opinions in check with one another. It's always for the benefit of the conversation, if that makes sense. Anyway, guys, look, I've been doing a lot of talking about Juventus recently. There's no news on that today, so we're going to take a pause on that one, put a pin in it for now, and then pivot back to some midfield kind of noise. Look, for whatever reason, 99% of the players that Tottenham are linked with this impending January window are for midfield positions, not for the positions that we absolutely need support in, as you know, the right back and the centre back issues. We've spoken about Sofyan Amrabat before, so I'm not going to wax on him too long, but that is obviously a name that keeps popping up, and the same goes for Weston McKennie. I'm guessing that they're recycling this noise because obviously Rodrigo Bentancur has come down with an injury in the last game of his group games for Uruguay against Ghana, I think it was. Went off in the 36th minute. He looked in distress, looked a bit of discomfort. We don't really know the extent of the injury yet, so we'll have to wait and see about that. But hopefully it's not too bad. And it brings back the kind of the conversation, the dichotomy of figuring out when you play a 3-4-3 with two central midfielders, should you really have four? I'm going to say four main midfielders. I know we've got Pape Matar Sarr, but I think he's not really expecting any minutes this season in all likelihood. Or should you go for five? The benefit of having five obviously is if you have an injury to Rodrigo Bentancur and then one or two of the other players are out of form or maybe need a rest or whatever, then you can bring in that fifth highly competent quality player and you won't have too much disruption. But if everybody's fit, then it means 60% of your players are not going to get too much game time. So there is a massive trade-off, and it depends on, I guess, man management, player happiness, the kind of characters that you're bringing in. And on that note, I want to pivot to the latest name that's being sort of spoken about at Tottenham is Franck Kessie, player that Tottenham were linked with for most of last summer. He ended up going on a free transfer to Barcelona. A really good player. Obviously, his history in Italy is a little bit checkered. Like he had a few bad years, but he seems to be regaining his confidence and his happiness. He's had a pretty good season, I guess, so far for Barcelona, even though he hasn't played that many minutes. He's played in quite a few games, but I think he's only averaged about 30 minutes a game. And so difficult to really know what his state of mind is like. But allegedly Barcelona are trying to free up spaces in their squad and are willing to let him go for 8 million, which would be significantly cheaper than what Tottenham would have to pay for Weston McKennie or for Sofyan Amrabat. But is he the sort of player who is going to be happy to not play all the time at Tottenham? There's rumours that he's not even happy he's not playing all the time at Barcelona, and that's Barcelona with a far higher general ceiling of quality of players, at least over the years, and where good players have to be comfortable not playing every minute. Hiya, how you doing? And so, for me, I'm not sure he's necessarily worth the risk. We don't want another unhappy camper in the books at Tottenham if he's not going to play all the time, and I don't think he will play all the time given the quality of the performances that have been coming from people like Højbjerg and Bentancur this season. What I would say about the Weston McKennie transfer, for me personally, guys, I don't want him anyway. You've heard me say it enough times on this channel. I don't think he's that good. I know people say that he displaced Bentancur for Juve when he came into the Juve team, and so therefore he should be considered better than Bentancur, but I don't think that's. I think that's causation, correlation. There's other factors that come into that, and Bentancur for sure has gone on to another level recently. So I don't think that the same thing would happen. I don't think he's worth that money. If you watched him against the Netherlands yesterday, he was awful defensively. Off the ball, he got torn apart by Cody Gakpo, and that level of quality, I think, is going to be more frequently found in the Premier League, and I just didn't think he looked good enough for the money. I also think there's a problem with, not to dwell on the Juventus situation too much on this particular video, but the fact that their whole board has resigned and the new board isn't scheduled to be implemented until they have their general conference on January, I think it's the 18th, then I'm not entirely convinced that Juventus are going to have the authorization or the authority, whoever's the caretakers there at the moment, who are taking charge whilst they're going through the transition. I'm not sure if you're going to see too many comings and goings before the 18th of January, because the new board are probably going to want to have their say over, what's going on with all that stuff. So maybe I'm wrong on that one, but I'd be surprised to see if Juventus did a hell of a lot of business in the first couple of weeks of January, given the fact that there's no official board going to be in place until the 18th. But time will tell. We'll see what happens there. So, look, to me, the only thing I would point out is that when you hear things like Gabriel Jesus, going down for 3 months, he's out for now until probably late February, then you can see the concern on Arsenal fans' Twitter pages, on YouTube channels. They're worried because whilst they have a very, very, very strong first 11, their squad is a little bit thin, and so Arsenal now are probably panicking. I mean, they've got a lot of runway because they've done so well in the first half of the season. They've got a lot of runway to be able to, to figure it out, and that they'll still be, in and around for sure the top 2 or 3 spots, whatever happens. But Arsenal now need to go out and essentially go and solve for that hole that's now going to be opened up because of Jesus's, medium-term absence. Tottenham are in a stronger position than that with the strength of our general squad. Like the first 11 and the bench is kind of about equitable, whereas last season our first 11 was here and our bench was down here. Now the bench has been raised, but I think it's now time for Tottenham to start to raise the overall quality by bringing in a few players, or 1 or 2 players that come in and absolutely improve the first team. And we know those areas, even though the press and media aren't spending too much time talking about those areas, centre backs and right backs. One of the issues with the story about McKennie that annoys me a little bit is that one of the reasons why Juventus are so happy to let go of Weston McKennie is because they need to raise funds in order to plan to buy Joaquin, or Joachim, however you say his first name, Mele, the Danish left back or right back. However, he plays equally well both sides. To me, that's a player that we should be going after. I think he immediately improves our right back. I think he arguably immediately improves our left back. I think he's a superb player, and he also can play, as I say, inversions, right? And one of the things that Antonio Conte does like to do when he has the option to do it is to play inverted wing backs. For me, Joachim Mele is a player that would fit right into the Tottenham team. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg obviously could make him feel at home. And to hear that we're going to go after a player from Juventus who doesn't improve our first team at all, in my opinion, in a position that we don't need help, so that Juventus can then go and buy a player that we actually could really benefit from having, that to me is a head scratcher. I love Mele, I think he's awesome, but you know what? There was a brilliant performance from Denzel Dumfries yesterday as well. I've got to hold my hands up. I've been saying to you guys on this channel that I don't particularly want him. I've got lots of Inter Milan fan friends who are like devotees to the Inter thing, and they tell me that Denzel Dumfries is a fraud and he's absolutely useless, and that they would rather have Emerson Royale than Denzel Dumfries. Well, look, if yesterday's performance is anything to go by, then they were wrong, and that Denzel Dumfries looks an absolute beast. He put in a brilliant performance. That said, one swallow doesn't make a summer, and whilst he's had an okay, decent World Cup, a good World Cup, I'm still not convinced by him. I did like the right back for America though, Dest. I thought he looked really good. Looked very aggressive and interested and engaged in the game, and lots of energy and did the press particularly well. So maybe I'll keep an eye on him, even though there's no more America in the World Cup. Anyway, I'm ranting now, guys. I just wanted to get that off my chest. That's a quick one today for me, 10.5 minutes. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Would you prefer Melee to come in? Do you want Weston McKennie? How about Franck Kessie? Do you think he's of the temperament? He's a brilliant player. Let's not, sort of make any bones about it. I spent a long time looking at his highlight reel and his lowlight reel, his everything reel on Y-Scout, the tool that I use. And the one thing I think he's very, very good at is long ball distribution. I think the way he can dispossess players that have the ball without sliding in is second to none. He's an absolute powerhouse midfielder who just leans on players and they give up the ball because they can't stand the heat on him that he puts on them. Very good footballer, but I worry about his temperament a little bit. And if you're going to bring him in to a position that's already kind of oversubscribed, then I don't know about that one. Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'll see you on SpursTalkShow tonight for the England watch along with the boys. Apart from that, I'll see you tomorrow on this one. Like, share and subscribe. And as always, guys, bye bye.